Hey, what's going on YouTube? And welcome back to Coffee Shop Chatter on Miss Controversy. So everyone probably already should have heard, unless you just been sleeping unless you've been under a rock somewhere, is there was a attempt on Donald Trump's life today. So apparently the shooter shot. He had, I'm pretty sure he was probably about 300 yards or more out, and that's just due to the way Secret Service and FBI know themselves their security and distance as far as what they cover out and in. So apparently there was one witness that actually said he seen the person move, like crawling around up on the roof. He told the police. Police ignored him. So my question is, was this pretty much a coordinated thing? Was it a coordinated assassination? You know, same issue you have with, people have this misconception that our government isn't capable of doing nefarious things. They assassinate presidents and all other kind of people outside of our country. If you actually think that one man actually assassinated JFK, I question your intelligence. Because I can tell you from a bolt action rifle, it is hard. If you understand uh, bullet ballistics and the impact and how things move when they're hit, like I've actually sat there and watched it over and over, and even when I was, when I was in the military as an officer, we watched it to see, like, come up with our own analysis of what we thought happened. Of, hey, was it one shooter? There was more than one. Not one person in that class out of 40 captains at that time. We were all captains. 40 people. Nobody said it was one person. Everybody was like, no. And everybody was pointing out different things, catching things that other people didn't catch. So now you have this supposed to, the one guy. He crawls around the roof. He shoots and miss. Now I could tell you the furthest I've ever shot any first ever shot was 400 yards, and that's hard as hell. And to do that without a spotter, I mean, even now, I occasionally go out there and shoot like 500 yards, and that's with a optic. That's to include with a magnifier along with that optic, which is actually I use a red dot, but I use a magnifier for 500 yards, even for 300. Five and then 200 yards, I really don't. But when you talk about 3, 4, and 500 yards, I use a magnifier. And that's just to hit steel, like to actually hear it so I know I'm hitting it. So at that distance, they say it was an AR-15, depending if his rifle was even calibrated. I mean, it was plenty of flags, but normally you actually have to be a sniper to really understand that, of wind direction. Then we talk about elevation, where you're at, the way around leaves leaves your barrel. So if you're, on the ground, it actually comes out and it arcs it, then it drops. So which means the further you level, the further away you are, the higher up you have to aim. And it's just because the path of travel of the round. So he missed. He hit. He probably was aiming. He probably was trying to do a headshot. And because the way the bullet was traveling and where he was at, it hit the teleprompter first, which is you saying that's like a one shot. And if he said you heard the whiz, by the time you hit, like literally that's a miss. I'm gonna say that's a miss. Problem I have is with you civilians, y'all will hear gunshots, and I'm looking at the people in the crowd, and I'm like, why are y'all standing up? What are you looking for? Common sense would tell you to get down on the ground and kind of seek cover instead of stand up, looking, trying to see where it's coming from. Even if the shot's not at you, but that's just a common sense thing to do is take cover. So that was one of the things I was wondering. I'm like, okay, what are they doing? Like, why are they standing up, trying to see where it's coming from? So you had the witnesses that seen it. So I personally think I'm gonna say it. This was a government thing. I personally believe, and people going to swear, oh, you call what you want to call it, but no person. There's no way that man was able to climb up on a roof, crawl around, and a person seen them, not somebody from the FBI, not somebody from the freaking Secret Service, because they have snipers. Nobody seen them, but a person on the ground seen them. Reported it to the police, and they ain't do nothing. So he apparently knew that was not somebody who was a government official, because before the president shows up on site, those guys are already in place. Well before he gets there. They're already canvassers. They doing security checks. They checking doors is locked. Make sure anything is a window that's facing anywhere. They got eyes on it. If it's a window facing that has blinds or whatever, they have to be closed. So there's a lot of things that these guys do prior to a president or someone like that showing up. So how is it that this guy got up there to do this? How is it that the police did nothing? So I could tell you one thing that I think should happen is anybody, like those old birds on The View, that one confused lady who thinks she's a man or whatever she thinks she is, that's on the Orange Is the New Black or whatever, that person, anybody who made a threat, all this just knocking on the door in the Secret Service, I think they should just start locking those people up, issuing idle threats, lock them up. But no, there was an actual guy there was there, and I got the video from that. It's about 9 minutes, so I'm gonna just go ahead and play that.
As we just learned, Joseph, you weren't listening to the program here, but Lester Holt, NBC News, just reporting that one of the attendees has deceased, has died from injuries as a result of the shooting. Joseph, you told me off camera that you may have witnessed this, and I'm so sorry to be talking to you in this tragic moment, but can you describe what it is that you saw?
I was attending the rally. I was in the set of bleachers, the very far left of the podium where President Trump was speaking. I was there with friends. I heard several gunshots. The man beside me suffered a gunshot wound to the head, was instantly killed, fell to the bottom of the bleachers. Another woman looked like she got hit in the forearm or hand. And then at that point in time, it was rather chaotic at that point because half the people were looking because they thought it was fireworks. I knew it was gunshots right away. My friend, he hit the deck. I was kind of looking around just trying to see where the shots were coming from. It seemed to me like the shots were coming from behind the bleachers. It seemed to me the man got hit in the head from behind. He was killed instantly, as far as I could tell. And at that point, state police and a SWAT team, started evacuating the bleachers, and then I helped carry the man out of the bleachers to a tent that was behind the bleachers.
You helped carry the man yourself. What was his condition when you were carrying him?
He's deceased. He died.
How close were you to him?
A couple yards. It wasn't very far.
Did you know the man?
No, that's a police ranger. They put a towel over his head and then carried him off.
And you said there was another woman nearby who was also injured. Where was she in relation to him?
I believe she was in the bleachers, like either above me or just to the side of him. but it seemed like she was kind of at my flank, and then she flinched, and it looked like she had taken a gunshot wound to the forearm and hand.
Joseph, from where I was standing, we heard multiple gunshots, 8 to 11 shots. We've been hearing it replayed on the video here. Do you remember, can you tell, I know it was a chaotic scene, but at what point, was it immediately when you heard the gunshots that he was shot, or was it later on into the firing?
The first 7, he was hit, and she was hit within the first 7 shots. I counted 7 shots.
What was going through your mind? You were right there. I know it happened so quickly, but what can you tell us about those moments?
First, I was in shock because I know what gunshots sound like, so I knew they were gunshots. I couldn't tell from where they were coming from. And when I noticed someone got hit, then I noticed, well, it seemed like they were coming from behind me, and it just was pandemonium. And then I heard some more shots, and I couldn't quite tell where they were coming from. But I counted the first 7, and they were very loud and very close. And it killed one man and wounded another woman.
And Joseph, you told me that you're a doctor, you're an OBGYN. How did that background play into how quickly you were sort of able to assess the situation and know what happened to these individuals and know what was going on?
Well, I told the police, I tried to render assistance. I told the police I could render assistance. They had another physician on the EMT team, so they kind of took over. So they didn't really need me, so I kind of helped carry them down initially out of the bleachers. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't, the man that got hit, there was no assistance that needed to be given. And unfortunately, his family witnessed the whole thing. It seemed like he had several family members in the bleacher with him. And they were quite upset. They didn't know, they were in shock. They didn't quite know what was going on. But the man was definitely killed instantaneously.
Could you tell us sort of how many family members or people who knew him were with him, and what was their reaction?
I thought there was 5 people. 2 of them were relatively hysterical. So, but they were, when we took the man out of the bleachers, he went to the tent. There was an aid tent or some type of tent behind the bleachers where they took the body, and they immediately evacuated the family with them. And the 2 out of the 5, it seemed like, in shock, hysterical. Like they were still trying to process what was going on.
Joseph, from where I was standing, we heard the shots. We saw the president go down.
Yeah, I saw President Trump get hit.
Yeah. What can you tell us? What details you remember?
It seemed like his head was off to the side, and it seemed like he got nicked in the ear.
Was that before the Secret Service took him down to the ground, covered him?
Right before the Secret Service. I mean, it was maybe, again, it's hard to tell, time dilates when, it seemed like it was a second or 2. Like that first 7 shots that went off, the man got hit. He was killed almost instantly. The woman in the bleachers, she got injured, like she got hit in the forearm and the hand. And then in those rounds that were fired, again, I was videoing the event, so that's when I saw Trump get hit. And it seemed to me like he was looking to the side and the round grazed his ear. So.
Could you tell the gentleman that was hit in the head what angle he was in relation to the former president, like which direction the bullets were coming from and to?
So it looked like he was facing the president at the very far left portion of the bleachers, so he's directly facing it. Again, it seemed to me like the shots were coming from the rear, like behind us. And for me, it seemed like the man was in the way. I guess...
In the way of the former president?
No, it seemed like the man was in the way of the shots between whoever was shooting the gun and the president. The man was hit. It seemed like he was in the crossfire.
And I know...
I'm not an expert on that, but that's what it seemed.
And I know you're in shock and still processing all of this. It's sort of hard to evaluate our own emotions in this moment, but you just experienced something horrific.
Yes.
What can you tell us about your state of mind right now?
Yeah, I've had opportunities to go to these rallies before. It was the first one I ever went to. I had time off to go do it. I was kind of excited to go, but it's. Everyone, it's something you don't expect. It comes out of the blue. It's like a bolt out of the blue, and it's shocking. The way politics goes in this country, it just seems like it's really polarized. Everyone's just very angry. I'm honestly shocked this didn't happen earlier. I was commenting to my friend who went to the event with me. I was like, the back behind the bleachers, it's really open. It seems like a really open venue, and it's just, I got this sense that, if someone really wanted to do something, and again, I was openly talking to her, and I was like, if something bad was going to be happening, this is the perfect venue to have. I just said this like an hour before it happened. I was like, this would be the perfect place to do it. And, surprisingly enough, it happened.
A devastatingly prescient observation from you. Let me ask you one more question, because from where I was, there was confusion. Then Trump stood up, and there were some cheers, and then people sort of remained. Those that weren't in sort of the immediate zone where you were. People were still sort of cheering, talking, trying to figure out what was going on. How quickly did you know that whether or not there was still a dangerous situation? It seemed like people sort of started to try to move on very quickly, not sure what had happened, right? So how soon did you know whether or not it was even safe? Did you want to get out of there? What did you witness in sort of the immediate aftermath once the shots stopped?
Well, it seemed after the shots went off, everyone thought it was a prank. Everyone, I think, got a sense, like when I looked out into the crowd, everyone thought I think the initial reaction, everyone thought it was a prank. I knew better it was a gunshot because I just saw a guy get hit. And it did.
For those of us that didn't see, it's some people started laughing, some people were confused. It wasn't immediately clear to the crowd that didn't witness what you witnessed, that this was in fact a dangerous and deadly situation.
Oh, it was a dangerous and deadly situation. The problem is it's a large crowd, and when the gunshots went off, I think they were, again, my sense was they were being shot from behind, so they sounded a bit muffled. So it sounded more like a firecracker going off. So I think the initial reaction from the people around me were like, okay, well, someone brought fireworks. I just knew better. I knew what gunshots sound like. And, when I saw the guy took a gunshot wound to the head, and then I saw the woman who got hit in the forearm and the hand, I just knew that it wasn't fireworks. I mean, it wasn't fireworks initially, but I think the majority of the crowd didn't understand that it was gunfire. And, I think people took it really seriously when the SWAT team started jumping over the rails. So I don't know what to tell you outside of that.
Joseph, I know this. I can't imagine what it takes to describe what you just witnessed in these moments, right in the aftermath. So we thank you so much for sharing.
I'm happy to.
Lester?
Yeah, Daja, thank you for that account. I mean, no one should have to, fear for their life going to a political rally, something that is uniquely American.
As we just learned.
So there you have it. I gave his account. So I guess if you looked at the TV, the guy was pretty much in the front of Trump. So that means the person who fired had to be shooting at an angle, probably from a 10 o'clock angle, so coming this way, coming in this way. And that's just my assumption, just based off of the way he said from where President Trump was to where the man was sitting to where the man got hit. So, I don't know. This world's crazy. Like I said, I take issue with people like Whoopi Goldberg and, like I said, all the other damn old birds that's on that damn show, inadvertently, because, they can't directly say it. But they're allowed to do it, calling for somebody to take out President Trump. And Vivek said it. He called, Vivek called it. He called it 100%. He said after that debate and the way things seemed, they know they couldn't beat them there. They couldn't beat them in the courts because they was trying to find a way to get them that way. Which you had a corrupted judge up there telling the people, hey, it doesn't matter. You really all don't have to agree on the facts and everything to find them guilty. Which normally is considered a hung jury. But, hey, it's the justice system. You got to believe in it. To that. So they couldn't get him in court. You had Sleepy Joe, didn't know he was at. He probably still don't know where he at. I mean, according to him, President Trump is his vice president. So you got that. And once that debate fell the way it did, that's literally, like Vivek said, that's the only thing they had left. PBD said the same thing on his podcast. His crew, they was, saying, hey, Trump needs to beef up his security. And they need to do a deep background check of some people because, truth be told, I wouldn't even trust some of the people in the Secret Service. I'm just being honest. There's no way one man should be able to get on the roof, crawl around, and somebody on the ground sees him. Sees him climbing up there, mind you. But Secret Service didn't see him. Their sniper team didn't see him. And he popped off a whole bunch of rounds before they was even able to take him out. So he shot 7 rounds. And I'm pretty sure a couple of them came kind of quick. So he was pretty much just, once he missed that first time, I think he just started shooting in hopes, quick aims, trying to pull the trigger. And when you're doing that, and when you tell them out 300, 400, 500 yards out, you can't do that. I mean, everything from your breathing, your trigger pull, all that plays a factor. That's not even including the wind direction, whether or not you got a crosswind or you got an upwind, because at that distance, even that is playing a factor in the actual path in which that bullet is traveling. So, I want to know what you think. What are your thoughts on it? As I always say, like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe button's right there. Just go ahead and it don't take that long to push it. And tell me what you think. But other than that, I don't have anything else. It's Mr. Controversy, and I'm out of here.